Welcome George Hongjoy, welcome Simon Redman, and welcome Eva Lee. We have heard it in the intro, the common prosperity addressing the wide gap between rich and poor, or the government's share concerns of the Chinese government, COVID, work from home, e-commerce, changing the way consumer work and shop, the growing awareness of ESG. Firms are willing to pay premium rents for best buildings to meet their ESG targets. And we find ourselves in an environment of increasing interest rates. My first question goes to you, George, on strategy. You have been successful in managing your portfolio of shopping complexes in Hong Kong. You have been very active in M&A, expanding into China and other cities also in Australia and in London. Amid the threat of online e-commerce and the common prosperity theme, can you share with us your investment strategies for retail and logistics properties facilities?
Thank you for the question. I think over the last few years, while we have been dealing with e-commerce rising in the share of retail sales, what we find also is that online and traditional retail is not mutually exclusive. A lot of shoppers still want to go and experience a good shopping center with the right mix of experience that they can see offline, and also the social aspect of getting together with friends and all that. And so we find that actually it has helped us as we diversify both outside of Hong Kong and go to Australia. We'll build a more resilient portfolio because we can then have exposure to different property cycles. The reduction of concentration risk should actually make us stronger in the long run. Logistics, I guess a lot of people see it as complementary to our retail portfolio. And so if we split our portfolio to core asset, that would be office being core plus, which we have added to. Then for retail, it will be probably towards the other end, value add needs a lot more work in order to keep changing tenant mix. In the middle between the two will be logistics, warehouse, which is core plus. And so having a portfolio mix of these different type of asset actually should improve, I think, the resilience of that portfolio as we deliver hopefully sustainable return to our investors.
So it's all about, or it's a lot about the resilience of the portfolio. Resilience is achieved, we can see, by diversification. Eva, thank you very much, Eva. To follow up, George, on the theme of common prosperity, how does this influence your investment decision in your strategy?
Well, we're still very focused on community retail. As we go to invest, for example, in China, we're looking at the mid-market. We don't really focus at all on looking at the high end. We believe that it gives us a lower volatility in terms of our tenant sales in the mid-market. And as we recently announced a purchase of 3 shopping centers in Sydney, similarly, while they are in the city, they are also mid-market, focused on largely non-discretionary spending around one of the key underground metro stations. So I think the middle class with common prosperity, especially you use this theme in China, will actually continue to grow, and the narrowing of wealth gap will actually be helpful. I think a lot of concern when we see challenges in countries where there is to unemployment, to income growth, but we see the government in China promoting continuous domestic income growth in order to drive a lot of industry, including retail business as well.
Thank you very much, George. Interesting. I would like to shift. Yeah, you have mentioned it. The question to a question related to ESG. George, your team has placed increasing focus on ESG in managing your rental portfolio. Can you share with us key measures you have introduced to lift your commercial properties to be sustainably rated buildings, and how your company generates accredited returns with the growing focus in ESG?
Yeah, I'm always puzzled with this last part of your comment. It actually makes financial sense to us to focus on ESG, especially on the E part, where we have actually saved a lot of money by reducing our, now we talk a lot about carbon footprint, but first and foremost, our electricity bill. From all the energy saving measures, looking at equipment, building management systems and all that, since 2010, we have already saved up over 40% of our electricity usage through all these different measures. And we continue to look at how we can save an incremental 4% absolute amount every year going forward. So when we announced the net zero target by 2035, we actually quite far down the track towards that already for the effort that we have put in for the last 10 years. But there are other things like solid waste reduction, where we focus on recycling, reducing surplus food and how we collect them and distribute it, wastewater, etc. And we're doing a climate sort of at risk model, value at risk modeling, depending on whether climate goes up by 1%, 2%, etc., and what is the pathway looks like. And then we've been doing a lot of green financing. We've been leading in doing green bonds, green convertible bonds, sustainability loans. And with all this put together, it actually is both cost savings and improvement that help us straight towards the bottom line. I think one thing that we want to do in the coming year, which would take a lot of collaboration, is working with our tenants to come up with a green lease. It's something that I think is going to be quite challenging. For example, we've been talking about reducing the use of single-use plastic. And then with COVID, with all these takeaway food that people need to buy, and suddenly the use of single-use plastic just jumped up in the last year or two, and we can't really do anything about it. So how can we balance between convenience versus cost of finding new materials? Maybe we help our tenants to bulk purchase better, more environmentally friendly packaging materials. A lot of details, a lot of collaboration that we need to do in order to make it work.
Thank you very much, George. Thank you very much to all the panel participants. So why not investing in Asia's largest real estate company or with Invesco? Thank you very much, George Hongchoy. Thank you very much, Simon. Thank you very much, Eva. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful year.
Thank you.